Good evening, everyone. This is Roderick D. Talley, and I am very excited to start getting into our first session of book reviews. It's been a while coming, and I appreciate everyone for their patience, but we are here, finally. Before I get into our first review, I gotta say that I only give positive feedback because there's really no wrong way to write. And there's already enough critics in the world. And so I'm here to do the opposite and actually encourage my fellow writers that we all have different gifts and we all have different ways of putting our gifts out. And I want to keep encouraging my fellow writers to keep doing that. So far, I've been so blessed by the books I've been privileged to read. And I hope you all keep writing. And if you aspire to start writing and start putting out your books, I definitely encourage you to do it. All right. So, without further ado, I'd like to present our first book review, and it is going to be on Why Are Church Folk Poor by Miss Raykel Tolson. I got to meet this wonderful young lady at a women's empowerment conference over in, I believe it's Carson, California. And it was cool because her and her son were one of my neighboring vendors. We're both selling books. And it was cool because her son was at the time getting ready to graduate from college. So I was very excited for him. You know, you could tell he was very excited. You know, of course, Mama Raykel was excited. So it was a very good time for that family. And she displayed a few books that she had, but this one caught me because I grew up in churches, and it was always interesting to see why some of the people that are following God were struggling the most, especially financially. It was like, if you gotta, do I have to be poor if I'm following God? I mean, I know are riches bad? Is it a bad thing? Sometimes we had a bad perception on money. And so this one definitely caught me because I grew up seeing this, and I've seen plenty of people plagued by this issue, especially with finances for some reason. So this book is about basically, it looks at the root issues of why church-going people don't grasp God's principles and actually try to create wealth for themselves and their families. A big thing, like I said, it was one big issue I saw is that people just have a bad perception when it comes to money. And some people misunderstand it, be like, oh, money is evil. Well, no, it's not money itself, it's just paper. It's the love of money, is what the Bible says is what makes it evil. The love of money is evil because you put money over God. So, and that's a big misconception I would constantly see in churches growing up. It also makes us check our personal beliefs, configure the flaws, and provides ways we can change and elevate our lives. So it's a lot of good insight in this book, and I definitely recommend anyone to get this, especially if you're struggling to budget your money and you're trying to do things the right way. You're trying to steward God's money the right way, but for some reason, you're just not grasping the right concept for some reason. So I definitely would encourage anyone to read this if you got those issues. My favorite points presented were quite a few. I had to narrow it down to about 5. But one of them was having an attitude of gratitude. That's something that I've been struggling with. So something I've been wanting to work towards was make sure I'm giving God thanks for everything, the good and the bad stuff, the things that I'm succeeding in and the things that I'm learning in, the areas I'm still growing in. It's important that we show God gratitude and not complain. Complain and let Him know what's on your mind. Let Him know what's on your heart. Communicate with Him. But as far as being like just complaining about finding reasons to complain, that really does nothing but draw negative energy to you. And so that was one key thing that stuck out to me. Another thing was persist when there is resistance. I know a lot of times we tend to want to give up when we face some rough times. So that one was really key. See it before you see it. Visualize yourself living the life that you dreamed of. That was very key because, you might run into people where for some reason they just can't see past the short term. They're always wanting to look towards the short term goals, and our society really pushes that for some reason. But it's important to visualize your goal, visualize the end game, visualize the finish line before you start it, because that is what kind of helps you proceed to strategizing and making your next steps into achieving that goal. Another point you pointed out was, before you ask God to provide more money, it is important to know how you are spending the money you already have. That is big. I mean, a great example is people that win the lottery go broke. It's not about how much money you're getting. Yeah, we need more money, but you need to focus on the fundamentals of actually saving money and actually stewarding the money correctly. And the last point that really stuck out to me was, it is important for you to find one or more accountability partners. I think this is important in life in general, to be honest, but it is definitely important when it comes to your finances. You need people to help that are going to be honest with you. Those are your best friends, to be honest, and they're going to help you let you know, like, hey, you need to do better in this area of spending or this area of budgeting. You need that. So definitely it's going to suck, because sometimes you don't want to hear the truth, but the truth is what helps us. And the truth is what builds our character. So if we abide by that and we take, note of that and actually, follow through on those advice, we become better people. So, and that's it, man, for this first book review. Where you can find the book is on her website at www.raykeltolson.com. You can also find her on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at the listed screen names. So thank you so much for tuning in, and stay tuned for our next book review.